So, another question is, who do you think you thought was going to make it big in wrestling, but never did?
You know, I get asked that about every fucking show I do, it seems, and every fucking show I have a new answer. Probably Sylvester Turkey. I thought would have been a bigger deal than what he ended up being, just through overall talent. NCAA champion, big badass. Promos, in all honesty, were not that good, and but he was huge in Japan. When he was he was the collector with us. He was the predator over there, and he kind of had a Bruiser Brody gimmick that he did there, and so yeah, he would probably be the one from OVW, especially that I managed. That I thought, I mean, yeah, he made it to the WWE, made some money, and he actually did a couple of 3 movies. And him and Nathan Jones is another one that I thought would have been huge. I didn't manage Nathan, but we were good friends. And he had served some serious prison time down in Australia. Told me the story once that he killed a man over a cat. And Paul London was down in the basement with us watching a ball game or maybe SmackDown. And because they weren't up on the main roster yet. And Paul London looked at me like, he just say that he killed a man over a cat. Chris looks at me and I look at him. I said, now run that by me again, Nathan. What happened? Yep. Yeah, dude, you heard me right. I killed a man over a cat once. I said, well, what happened? What went down? He said, well, this son of a bitch in prison grabbed a cat and he twisted its neck and threw it over the upper level, like several stories down to the bottom. He said, so yeah, he says, I grabbed the motherfucker and I did the same thing to him. I twisted his fucking neck and I threw him the same way he threw the cat. I said, you know what, Nathan, I don't think I blame you. And he said, well, in Australian prison, if you're in there for a serious crime, killing somebody in prison does not add to your sentence. And so I wasn't worried about it. And he says, plus, and no, people knew better than to fuck with me from that point on. I said, I don't think I would have. If you'll kill somebody over a cat, I certainly wouldn't want to take your double-decker hamburger from you. And
So best finishing move, in your opinion?
Well, I always loved the stunner, just because of who it was, who was doing it. The tombstone pile driver was always good. Jerry Lawler going to the fire, obviously, in certain time. But see, Jerry Lawler had fucking 15 finishes. It might be the fist drop off the top rope. It might be the chair. It might be the chain. Might be the fire. The signature finish shit didn't happen probably until the Attitude Era of wrestling. People had multiple finishes, so you couldn't predict the end of every match. And now, until you see that signature finish, and of course their finish, people will kick out of 15 times when other people do it. As you've seen, like Shawn Michaels was a super kick.
Right.
People didn't. Well, goddamn well, you can go to an independent show and see 47 super kicks in a night, and there'll be 47 kickouts of the super kick.
Yeah, it's the Young Bucks and the whole Bullet Club.
Jesus.
That's all they did.
I even watched a WWE match once that I know I counted. Well, you know what? I tell you who was in it. It was now where has the best friend gone for Kevin Owens? Sami Zayn. Where's he been?
He's injured.
He's hurt. Okay, we're good. Because I remember watching a match with Zayn and Kevin Owens and whoever the fuck they were wrestling, and I counted over 20 super kicks in one match. And we used to have a competition in OVW where we would sit in the back and go, all right, well, how many total super kicks are we going to see on the night? And then we'd have an over-under. And a lot of times that over-under would be right around 20. So we thought that was a lot for one fucking night. And we would tell the boys, not only do you need to coordinate your match, but see what the finish is for other matches, or kind of what their matches are, so you don't go out and repeat the same shit they do or bury their finish by kicking out of it in your match when they're going to use it as a finish in theirs. And so not only do you need to know what's going on in your match, everyone else needs to know too. And of course, they never did it. And we would be watching, and I think the nightly high one night was 27 super kicks on the night. And Danny would just be furious, and he'd call him back here and rip him a new asshole. And so sure enough, I'm watching this match with Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and whoever the fuck they were working. And there were over 20 super kicks in the match, and every one of them was kicked out of. I do not know why the hell anybody would do that.
So what about a move that you saw in your heyday that you want to see again? Like, for example, the pile driver. Is there a move you want them to bring back?
Well, the pile driver was great for Lawler because he made it and just a death-defying move. If you got the pile driver put on you, you didn't get up. I think the only person he gave the pile driver to that it had absolutely no effect on, if I remember correctly, was Joe LeDuc. But Joe had that big Canadian lumberjack build about him and that big thick neck, and he just stood up and shook it off. And if it wasn't him, it was his tag team partner whose name I can't think of right now. Jean Pierre or Jean Pierre Louis, something like that. Yeah. And he was LeDuc's partner down here from time to time. And but no, other than that, that's fuck. I mean, seems like I've seen every goddamn finishing move there is.
I've been ignoring these Charles Harry Blair comments and questions because I believe it's Harry Barnett. So, but he wants to know, Kenny, why do you like a sport that's basically rugby on pads when you call real football soccer? Why don't you watch real football? And he called us Yanks too, by the way.
Well, obviously, believe it or not, I don't think that's Barnett. I don't think. Well, number one, it's soccer. It's what it's known. It's called World Cup soccer. When they have the championships, it's and the United States gives so little a shit about it that we weren't even in the last tournament. We've been in some. We've done well in the Olympics. But as the United States goes, that is the only time we remotely give a shit about soccer.
And is it spelled football differently, right? Ain't football spelled differently? And it's spelled differently? It's not spelled the same, right?
I actually think it is. I could be wrong because, over there, God, who knows? But no, football here in the United States is, it gets big ratings and just unbelievable TV viewership. And if you put soccer on, it's just regular fucking soccer and no World Cup or tournament or Olympics. Nobody here gives a shit. And rugby, if you really want to get down to no one gives a fuck, it's called Australian rules football for a reason. And rugby for a reason. Nobody fucking gives a shit except maybe Aussies who can't afford football pads. I don't know, and helmets.
Rugby is
maybe if they played kangaroos, I'd watch more often.
Yeah, rugby is more Australian, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, it's more Australian. Yeah, it's kind of like Australian rules football, which I don't know why they call it because there are no rules.
Yeah.
There are no rules. It's just, just go out there and kill each other for however long the time goes. And then in soccer, they make up how long the game is. We're playing extra time. What? Extra time? And then it's up to a guy on the sidelines. And then sometimes there's extra time. And most of the games end at 1-1 or 0-0 or who the fuck wants to see that?